Hello everybody, welcome to Dakman Productions and welcome to Common Rail. And we're back with another unboxing. This was a eBay buy, so hopefully everything's okay. You know how eBay can be. It's a 50-50 shot whether you're going to get something as described or not. And so we'll see. For the most part, I make out well with eBay. I just try and watch who I buy from because I am not ever paying for anything no matter how bad I want it. So there's a couple particular sellers I will not buy from. And today I'm using my old Lionel Trainz knife. This thing needs to be sharpened. Oh, it says Santa Fe on there. Santa Fe F3 diesel locomotive. It says it right on the blade. That's cool. I didn't even notice that. I had all this time and didn't even notice it. Alrighty, so let's see what we got. Toss out a sign. So, using the Lionel blade to open up some Atlaso stuff, but won't reveal what it is just quite yet. And so what do I have here? I have Atlaso Master Series ACFX Chlorine cards that I've been looking for a very, very long time. And 3-rail. The 2-rail versions come up here and there, but I don't feel like going through the process of trying to find the proper 3-rail trucks and convert them over. So I finally found the 3-rail version. Now you can see these are kind of older run. Which is par for the course. The plastic gets a little yellowish. And that's what happens to the Atlaso boxes if they're old or if they're left near sunlight, or even fluorescent lights will even change the colors to a more yellow on the window. But let's open up one, and because you can't see through the yellow window here. Pull it out of the box. Yep, brand new. Now you can see how it yellowed. See that? So that's par for the course, like I said. So, yep. So you can see how the plastic gets yellow on the Atlas, on the older Atlas, but it doesn't affect the car any. The cars are still good. Atlas does a great job packing these. Oh, what a beauty! Oh, this thing's nice. So here you go. The ACFX Chlorine cars with the black with orange stripe. Now these are prototypical. I have actually seen these in a train before, and ever since then I wanted these. As you can see, they do not have the yellow safety stripes on them, so that's a good thing because that would be more modern with the safety stripes. And as everybody knows, I sold off my modern, and so these would be perfect to go with the Conroll era that that I stuck with. And like I said, it's just a car really wanted. Now Lionel is doing something similar to this ACFX Chlorine car. They are doing the same design, except it's going to say Procore instead of ACFX. And Procore actually did have black tank cars with an orange stripe and also hauled chlorine in them. It's a nice car, and very well done. I'm not going to go through reviewing the tank car part of it, but we will take it out and take a look at it, and I'll just go over a few details. But my favorite tank car is made by Atlaso, bar none. I ended up selling off, and I know people are going to be disappointed about this too, but I ended up selling off all my Lionel 30,000 gallon tank cars, my unit tank car train that I made up. It was just getting those cars to run without derailing was something else. Most of them were too light. The older runs or the original runs were way too light. They tried to make them a little bit heavier, but it just seems like, derailment after derailment with them. And, even I had to add weights. I had to do different things to get them to run properly. And, I'm getting to the point where I really just don't want to mess with, trying to make trains run properly anymore. I'm getting too old. I just want to come down here, put a train on a layout, relax, and watch it run. I don't want to have to deal with making things couple together or not derail. And I know people are going to say, well, your track work is probably off. Nope. It was only them cars that would derail. I could make a whole entire train of Atlas O 25,500 gallon tank cars, and not one time would any of them derail. Why? Because the Atlas O 25,500 gallon tank cars are a little bit heavier. They weigh a little bit more, and so they stay on the track better. They track better. The wheels are better. Their flanges are better. I mean, everything's better about them. And I know people are going to probably hate me for saying this, but in the world of HO, and yes, I'm going there. So in the world of HO, they have NMRA standards for weight. So when the manufacturers like Atlas and Scale Trainz and Athearn all make HO rolling stock or even N scale, there's a certain NMRA standards for how heavy that car should be when they go to create it, so they run pretty much flawlessly. So, yeah. And I know people are saying, oh, now Dakman's comparing O-gauge 3-roll to HO. Well, it'd be nice if the O-gauge had some kind of standards to it. But so I'll get off that horse now. I'm probably bringing this video up at a bad time. The Chlorine car. I mean, it's something cool to have on your railroad, I think. But we're in a time where there's been a lot of derailments, especially with Norfolk Southern, around the different states. And so, yeah, I don't know what's going on there, but it's definitely, especially with hazmat, it's definitely gotten out of hand with the amount of derailments. In the world of trucking, when a trucking company has so many accidents, they have the DOT will come in and shut them down, especially if there's any hazmat accidents. So, but anyway, so I'll move away from that subject real quick. Going back to the Lionel Procore that was announced, I don't remember if it was the last catalog or the one before that, but they're going to be standard O. And quite honestly, I'm not a huge fan of the Lionel short tank cars either. They got plastic railing. They're a little bit more fragile. So let's get this car out. We'll take a quick look at it, and maybe you can compare it to the real version. This ACF tank car is based on the American Car and Foundry's insulated general service tank car, which is designed primarily for transporting chlorine. It features separately applied brake detail, finely molded handrails, tank fittings, safety placards, and metal safety bars. So there's an interesting story behind why the ACF tank cars, especially the leased ones, had an orange stripe going down the side of it. During the 80s, there was a short-lived Canadian government regulation requiring pressurized tank cars suitable for carrying hazardous compressed gases, both flammable and toxic inhalation hazards, to be painted with a bright orange horizontal band around the middle of the car as a very visible marker to the first responder crews in event of an incident. Non-pressurized cars did not receive these markings. This regulation was one of the measures instituted in the aftermath of an infamous 1979 Mississippi wreck. Several factors, however, led to the eventual dropping of the required orange stripe after a few years. Between the lack of universal adoption, as this was not a requirement in the United States, and it takes a number of years to apply new lettering standards to an entire fleet of existing cars, and eventual realization that when the paint burned off in a fire, the visual cue wasn't all that useful. So the orange stripe on these particular cars was eventually dropped. But even today, you can still be lucky enough to come across these older tank cars that were built or repainted in the 1980s that haven't been repainted since and still show this orange stripe. Although 30 years of repaints and retirements have seriously thinned their ranks. So I found that a very interesting story. I hope you did too, as to why cars like the Chlorine tank car, the general service tank car, would have an orange stripe around it. It was for the first responders in Canada, but the United States never really instituted the regulation. But as you know, trains travel from the United States to Canada. So to meet Canadian regulations, and you want to travel into Canada, you have to, comply with their regulations. So, I hope you thought this was as interesting as I did. I hope you learned something today. And we'll catch you next time around. Catch you at a train show. We'll see you later. Goodbye.